He climbs before dawn, as he has climbed every morning for 30 years. Tarlan's calloused hands find each stone step by memory alone, his oil-stained caftan smelling of beeswax and salt. Above him, the great flame breathes. Below, the Caspian stretches into darkness, ancient, indifferent, undefeated. The caravans that once wound through Derbent's gates are ash now. The merchants, the poets, the mullahs, scattered like chaff before a Mongol wind. Yet the lighthouse endures, and so does he. He tends the flame with the quiet devotion of a man who knows that somewhere beyond the Blackwater, a ship is reading his light, trusting his constancy with their lives. He has outlasted one world already, but the hoofbeats of a new reckoning are already echoing on the stones beneath his tower. They come without warning, as empires always do. Across the white salt flats, where nothing grows and the wind cuts like a Damascene blade, the hoofbeats arrive before the riders. A low, rhythmic thunder absorbed by the earth itself. Tarlan is at his window when the banners crest the ridge. The Soldan standards of the Khan's western armies, horsehair and iron catching the pewter light of a dying afternoon. Below, the marsh reeds genuflect in the cold Caspian wind. The soldiers number 12, their lacquered armor sheened with salt spray, their breath rising in small white clouds. At their head, an envoy holds a scroll sealed in black wax. Tarlan recognizes the insignia of Admiral Köke Timur, the man who burned Derbent's harbor, and his hands tighten on the stone. The sea, for now, cannot protect him. Köke Timur unrolls no map. He needs none. He has Tarlan. The admiral's demand lands like a siege stone. 30 war vessels, the northern passage, the Georgian coast, struck before winter closes its fist. Tarlan's eyes move briefly to the window, to the gray Caspian heaving beyond the salt-crusted glass. He knows what the admiral does not. That autumn in these waters is not a season, but a sentence. The northern shallows shift. Sandbars rise and vanish overnight. Storms build without warning from the eastern steppe, and swallow iron-hulled ambitions whole. Yet Tarlan bows. His face reveals nothing. Not the calculation already turning beneath it, not the location of the hidden charts pressed flat inside the lighthouse walls. He has survived one conquest. He is already planning another. The question is not whether he will navigate the fleet, it is where he will lead it. Beneath the lighthouse's cracked foundation stone, wrapped in oilskin blackened by decades of salt and lampblack, the charts still breathe. Tarlan retrieves them with hands that tremble, not from fear, but from the weight of what he now contemplates. Pressed flat against the cold flagstone floor, he reads them by the meager glow of a single tallow stub, tracing with one calloused fingertip the passages his Mongol masters believe they understand. They do not. The killing shoals shimmer on the vellum like hidden teeth. The submerged ridge at Garasu Point, the false channel that swallows hulls whole near the marshes of Masazir. Knowledge the conquerors burned cities to possess, and never thought to ask a single fisherman. Tonight, Tarlan begins converting a lifetime of survival into something far more dangerous. A weapon. At first light, 40 war vessels claw free of the harbor mouth, their oars churning the Caspian to pewter foam. Tarlan stands at the prow of the lead ship, robed in authority he does not trust and watched by eyes he cannot escape. Mongol soldiers line the rails like iron teeth. He studies the horizon, not with the admiral's urgency, but with a navigator's patient dread. The water has turned the color of old bronze. Cormorants flee inland. The swell moves in long, unbroken ridges that only a man who has read this sea for 30 years could recognize as the signature of something vast and violent drawing breath. The storm is not 3 days away. It is hours. And Tarlan alone knows what the admiral's charts cannot tell him, that the fleet is sailing directly into its throat. The sky turns the color of old bronze, then bile, then nothing recognizable at all. Within minutes, the Caspian erupts. Walls of black water crash across the Mongol decks, swallowing oars, drowning horses lashed to the lower holds, tearing silk banners from their masts like torn prayers. The steppe warriors, conquerors of cities, breakers of kingdoms, clutch rope and timber with white-knuckled terror, utterly undone. The sea cares nothing for their empire. Köke Timur's hands tremble as he cuts Tarlan's bonds himself, a gesture more desperate than it is dignified. Power, that ancient and slippery thing, changes hands not in a throne room but on a storm-lashed deck, in salt and fury and roaring dark. And Tarlan, weathered hands now gripping the helm, knows exactly which waters lie ahead. The storm does not relent. Black water rises against the hull in walls of churning foam, and the fleet groans like something dying. Tarlan stands at the prow, his oilskin cracked and salt-bleached, the ancient chart burning in his memory like a coal. To the east lie the hidden shoals, the teeth of Ardabil, known only to those born to these waters. One command, one deliberate drift in bearing, and 40 Mongol warships find their graves. He feels the choice settle into his chest like cold iron. He thinks of the Georgian women in their mountain villages. He thinks of the Persian fishermen who will still need this sea when empires have finished with it. Then, in the eye between lightning strikes, something older than obedience moves through him, and Tarlan reaches for the steering oar. The fleet slides into the cove like a hand into a velvet glove, and finds itself trapped. Tarlan holds his lantern steady, his face unreadable against the howling dark. He has not lied. He has simply told the sea a different truth. Around the warships, the storm walls close like a fist of gray iron, churning the shallow southern waters into white fury. Salt spray burns every eye. The admiral's banners, crimson and gold, whip and tear in the gale. For 3 days, perhaps 4, no oar can pull against this wind, no sails survive it. Somewhere to the north, the Georgian stronghold breathes. Its defenders do not know what quiet miracle has found them. But Tarlan knows. And soon, the admiral will begin to ask questions. The morning after the storm, Köke Timur stands at the lighthouse threshold, his lacquered armor still salt-crusted, his fury contained behind eyes cold as river ice. Before him, Tarlan unrolls the ancient charts. Ox-hide panels inked with Persian script, tracing the Caspian's hidden moods. The keeper speaks without trembling. He traces currents with a weathered finger, invoking the sea's own testimony. What can the admiral condemn? The wind? The tide? Nature has provided its own alibis, indifferent and absolute. Yet something has changed in the silence between them. A recalibration, precise and wordless. Köke Timur studies the old man the way a chess player studies a piece he cannot yet capture. He needs Tarlan still, and Tarlan knows it. But need, in the language of empire, is always a temporary condition, and the admiral has already begun to calculate the cost of no longer needing him at all. The fleet limps home through amber autumn haze, its banners salt-crusted and slack. No Georgian fortress has fallen. The Caspian has kept its secrets, and its keeper. Tarlan climbs the worn stone stairs of his lighthouse, as he has 10,000 times before. Each step a small, deliberate act of continuance. He trims the wick with cracked, careful fingers. The flame takes. Below, the dark water catches its reflection and scatters it across the waves like scattered gold coins. He is still a prisoner. He is still alive. And the ancient charts, memorized in every particular, remain locked behind eyes that the empire cannot open by force. The conquerors have claimed this coast, its roads, its ruins, but not this light, and not this man. Spring will come, and with it, the admirals will return.